What's going on, everybody? This is your man, Dr. John C. Turner, aka the Professor JT, aka Dr. JT. And we are live once again with the Doc Chat. Man, I got some heavy hitters on for you tonight. Man, I got some brothers from another mother, but you can call them doctor. I got Dr. Ron Miller, I got Dr. Ian Buchanan, and they are going to come and share their incredible doctoral journeys and also the amazing work that they're doing. And so, hey, if you are checking us out on the Doc Chat, like we always do, let us know what doctorate program graduated from. Let us know what city you tuning in from. Let us know that you're checking out the Doc Chat. We absolutely love it, and we appreciate our guests. My God, Dr. Whitty, always checking in, always showing love. We appreciate you so much, and I'm telling you, man, we're going to have an amazing, amazing show tonight. So without further ado, I'm going to give the mic to, my God, my frat, Dr. Ian Buchanan. Welcome to the Doc Chat show. Let the folks know a little bit about yourself.
Appreciate you, good noob. And thank you for the invitation. So my name is Ian Buchanan, Dr. Ian Buchanan. In terms of the work that I do, I am a K-12 educator. My last formal 9-to-5 job was chief academic officer in a smaller school district in St. Louis. It is where Nellie graduated from high school, the school district of University City. Before the last 2 years, I've been a full-time edupreneur. So I have a company called NIA Education Group, and we provide high quality coaching and consulting services to great leaders. My doctorate was in educational leadership and policy analysis, and my research was around the intersectionality of hip-hop culture, Black masculinity, and the schooling experiences of boys of color. So again, excited to be here.
We absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Dr. Denton, we appreciate you. The Denton doctors, I'm telling you, they always show love to us here on the Doc Chat. We appreciate you so much for checking in. It means the world to us. Now, I got to give love to this guy, my guy, Dr. Ron Miller. This dude been checking in. He said, sir, when I get my doctorate done, I'm coming on that show. Well, he's here, folks. Dr. Ron Miller, tell everybody about yourself. Finally, welcome to the Doc Chat.
I appreciate the invite. My name is Ron Miller. I'm a retired Master Sergeant in the United States Air Force. Now, finally having that PhD in business administration from Trident University International. Country boy from Virginia. I love doing what I do. I'm an IT specialist working at a large IT firm, and I'm just glad to be here. Finally crossed that line.
Yes, sir.
We love it. Yes, absolutely sir. Love it. So we're not going to waste no time. We're going to jump right into it. Dr. Buchanan, why go get a doctorate degree? Why go do it? What was the motivation to make you go do it? To say, I think I can do this. What was it that made you say, I'm going to go ahead and get that thing?
Yeah, I think for me, it was the opportunity to make a bigger impact. I knew that it would give me access and a knowledge base and some credentials to broaden my impact. And so in a nutshell, that's really why I decided to do it. I think specifically the university that I chose, part of it was because they're one of the top research universities in the country. And so it was important for me to go to that university specifically because I wanted to make sure that I was a strong researcher. And that's really it, bottom line. Yeah.
Love that. Yeah. Love that.
Yeah.
Dr. Miller, why? Why go get the doctorate degree, especially you just get done? And especially if you're amazing service in the Air Force. And thank you for your service, my guy. Yes, why go do it?
I was retired. When I retired, I should say, I had 150 credits, but no degree. Mm-hmm. So for me, it was more of when I would go to an interview or go to a job fair. The first thing was, do you have a degree? Like, no, I'm finishing my bachelor's degree. So the spark came from, well, you don't have enough education. I have 24 years of education. You can't do what I do. You don't have the mentality to do what I do, right? So working in the job that I had in the Air Force gave me the mentality of failure is not an option. We don't fail because if we fail, things are going to go wrong in a very rapid way. So my mindset is I got to get everything I can get. So that young man didn't know where he had started the fire burning for me to get this degree. So now I got them all.
Nice.
I got one of each. I don't have multiple of each. I got one of each.
Yeah.
But I got every degree you can have. And going to college was not my dream. I didn't think I was going to college. This is brand new to me. What was now. Now the journey is complete. And I got all the degrees now.
That's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. If you're checking us out, make sure you highlight us here on the Doc Chat. I mean, these are 3 black males with doctor degrees. Where else you gonna see this at other than Doc Chat? Here,
Right.
we doing the work and we putting it in. Now I'm gonna go back to Dr. Ian because I kind of want to take a curveball at this.
Yep.
Tell me about your youth. Tell me about what's it mean for you to sit here and now say, hey, I got that doctor degree done, but I got to tell you for real what I saw, where I came from.
Yeah. So you asked me what was my growing up like? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. I got to hear that.
Cool. So some of you, if you're historians, you may be familiar with the East St. Louis race riots. And so the East St. Louis race riots was one of the most violent riots that the United States has known. And so I'm born and raised in that city called East St. Louis, Illinois. It's not Missouri, it's Illinois. A lot of people don't know that. And so it is one of those urban communities that has a lot of challenges. However, there was so much love and so much high expectations and so much family in my community that was really a counter narrative to what people think about some of our communities. As a matter of fact, it's so interesting. My first class that I took in grad school, we had to read a book called Savage Inequalities. Mm-hmm. And so Savage Inequalities is considered to be, especially during the mid-late 90s, was considered to be like a canon in the educational world. And so in the first chapter, it says, East St. Louis will be just like it is for many years to come, a scar of sorts, an ugly metaphor of chemicals and filth, a place for Black folks to die and a place for white folks to pass when they're going to St. Louis. And so that's the narrative that this researcher, Jonathan Kozol, had about my community. And so part of the reason that I do this work is because I am a counter narrative. So many times we hear these, what they call them, these dangerous single stories about who we are. And so part of my role is to challenge some of those dangerous stereotypes that they have around Black men from the hood in general. And so yeah, man, East St. Louis raised me. I'm proud of it, and I carry it on my back.
Hey, and that's why I felt led to ask that. And now I'm gonna go to Dr. Ron. Tell me about your youth, you coming up, and now you sitting here, military, retired, doctor degree. Tell me about about where you came from.
Well, I'm from Newport News, Virginia. And we got to be careful how we say Virginia. It's Virginia, almost like an F. So get the pronunciation right. So I'm a country boy to the bone. So growing up for me, my dad was in the military, my cousins, my uncles, my family, this is what we do, right? So when I was 8, I told my mom, I'm going into the military. You just wait. So I graduated from Germany. There was a high school in Germany that I attended and graduated from that around the military base. It was American military school. So, and then thereafter, I joined the military and I was on my way doing what I do. But my youth was just surrounded by my family mainly. We came down here to Texas once. I was stationed at Fort Hood with my father, and then again with my stepfather. But military to the bone.
Yeah.
So,
and you know, it's coming from these places where they're looking at you both, looking at us.
Right.
Y'all not supposed to come out of there and do what y'all doing right now. I mean, it's incredible, absolutely incredible. So we're gonna go to Dr. Buchanan, and now you're in the program. What were some of the classes, or what were some of the moments where you was like, oh shoot, like this sucker's real? Like, man, I want to do this, but I almost want to throw in the towel because this ain't no joke. What part of it was like that? But then what part of it was really enjoyable that you said, you know what, I can't get this done?
Yeah, so I think the challenging part, I would liken it to my fraternity initiation process. And I say that because the hardest, the work really starts after the initiation. Yeah. And you pay your dues during that process, and then the work really starts. And so for me, after the coursework was over, that was a challenging part, because to write the dissertation takes a certain amount of discipline, a certain amount of being able to say no, and a certain amount of humility as well, because your committee chairs sometimes can rip your stuff apart. And not only that, but I'm a trained engineer. I have an engineering degree, so I'm a mathematician and an engineer by trade. And so writing is like using my left hand. I'm a right-hander. Writing is like using my left hand. And so writing wasn't the easiest for me, so that was a challenge as well. The coursework I loved, and engaging with my colleagues and learning, that was the part that I loved. But it was the discipline part that made it sort of a challenge. But I'm a very disciplined person, so I was able to, push through.
And were you in a cohort, or were you pretty much?
Yeah,
you're in a cohort.
Okay. So I was in a cohort. Yeah, I was in a cohort for 2 years to do the coursework, and then after that you're on your own to do the writing.
That's right. That's right. And Dr. Miller, you kind of went what most would consider a non-traditional, because it was online for the most part. Is that what it was?
It was all online. No residency required. I didn't meet anybody until we graduated. So the one guy that I started my first class with, he was doing 2 classes a term. And I thought he was going to graduate before me, but we talked at graduation and he had to slow it down because he's moving too fast. So we graduated the same night. But those classes are not easy. And writing, I didn't like to read when I was young. I read military books if I got a book to read. So if it wasn't about something related to what I was interested in, I wasn't reading it. And this is all about, you got to do the research. You got to do the reading. You got to do the work if you want to come out on the other side with that tam and gown. So for me, it was, every class was a challenge. I loved them, but every class was a challenge because writing was just not my friend. Now, this online university I went through for my bachelor's and the master's degree, and it was all about writing. That's all you had to do was turn in papers. So it got comfortable with those classes, but this doctoral level, you don't know how to write. You don't know how to spell. You can't put a sentence together. This paragraph doesn't make sense. That red ink come back on you, and it's like, what am I doing in this? Then you settle in, you find your stride, and again, that mentality, failure is not an option. Now here we go. Halfway through, I was ready to quit, to be honest.
That's real.
But that training kicked in. I can't give up now. Too late. I'm too far in it.
That's good. That's good. Dr. Ian, go ahead.
Well, no, I was just going to say, Dr. Ryan, you bring up a good point in terms of the writing, because academic writing in itself is a whole different beast.
Oh, it's different.
Totally. And so it's not just writing, it is academic writing, which makes it even that much more challenging at times.
It's like a new language.
Yeah.
It's all English, but it's a new language because the way you have to write to get your idea across, to find the gap, number one, was hard. Then to get your idea across was just as hard. When I followed my path, so I came in with an area I wanted to study, and the doctoral program director was surprised at the end because she had left the university, went somewhere else. She was surprised at the end that I had stuck with my original idea for my research project.
Wow.
So it was difficult though.
Yeah, because you have to realize too, and I know coming from East St. Louis and coming from Norfolk, Virginia,
Newport News.
Yeah, Newport News. Y'all not talking research methodologies and theoretical frameworks and statistical regressions. You're not talking that on a normal basis. So when you get into it, and now it's like I got to learn this on the fly. And like Dr. Ryan said, you kind of get into this stride, but then when they hand you that paper back and it looked like somebody spilled Kool-Aid all over it because they done ripped it to shreds, it plays with you a little bit.
Exactly right. Exactly. Yeah. And that's when, we have to be very careful about being caught up with the imposter syndrome. Am I really good enough? Am I supposed to be here? Are these people really smarter than me? Do they know more than I know? Do they want me here? And so then you start to really fight with yourself around things too. So you got to be careful about that.
Yeah, because
self is that man in the mirror mentality. You're only in competition with yourself. And if you can master your mind to get through this process, there is nothing you cannot do.
That's true. Now, were there other Black males in the programs that you both were in at the time you were there?
This gentleman that I started with and we graduated on the same night, he was Asian American.
He was Asian.
In the military as well.
Okay. Dr. Buchanan?
Yeah,
But
there was one guy with me.
Right.
His process took a little bit longer though.
Okay. Yeah, and I mean, even in my program, I started in a cohort program, and I was it. You know, I can turn around, do 360, come back around, and it's just still me. Like
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
it.
yeah,
You know, so
yeah.
just
Yeah,
like y'all talked
absolutely.
about, you know, it's not even like, oh, it's just me getting this done. Man, it's me, and it feels like everybody else on my back. Like it's
right.
real talk. You know.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
it was I don't want to give you the wrong idea. We started class together because it was a research class, but we
Of
had
course.
different specialties. So
Right.
as soon as the first class was over, I didn't talk to him again until like several months later. We had another class together that was a general course, and then didn't see him. So we were in courses together for 3.5 years, and I saw him twice. Other than that, I was by myself. And this is, let me tell you, the online way to go is all right. But if you can get in with a group of people to study and understand your pain and frustration, that would be much better.
Now, do you agree with that, Dr. Ian? Do you agree with that?
Do I agree that a cohort is better? Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Oh, for me, absolutely. It definitely
Okay.
was. It definitely was because I'm a me versus me person, but I'm
Okay.
also hyper competitive, and so it's always good to kind of compare with others and kind of joust, so to speak, with others.
Okay.
So I do and plus I like community. Mhm. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And that's you know, it's always different strokes, different folks, you
Yep.
know, different things
Right.
like that. But those are important things we want people to realize. Like some people, their cohort situation may not have been the best. But some people, especially if they come through a lot of those online degree programs, it's like, wow, I'm in the desert.
Flying
And somehow
solo.
I gotta
Flying solo.
find some water somewhere.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thirsty.
There
Yeah.
you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Once
Yeah.
again, folks, we are here on the Doc Chat. Hey, we appreciate y'all checking in, checking us out. Let us know, were you in a cohort or were you in a program that was kind of by yourself, and how did that make you feel? You know, those are things we want to make sure we're encouraging individuals as they're going through this process. Now, we're going to keep the show on rolling. Dr. Buchanan, so now you're writing that dissertation. Why that topic, and what did it feel like finally getting to that dissertation defense and that finish line?
Why the topic? I wanted to choose something that I was extremely passionate about, and for me, it's always been about Black boys. And I was always passionate about literacy, even though, you know, I was a mathematician. And so for me, combining those two things and then thinking about what it takes for Black boys to be able to thrive and flourish in educational environments was super important to me. And I knew that it was a dissertation lane that a lot of people didn't occupy, especially in the way that I was writing and the combinations of stuff that I was writing about. There's not too many people writing about hip hop culture, Black masculinity, schooling, literacy, all at the same time. And so for me, it was cool to do something that was unique, that I knew was going to create another lane, but then was going to open me up to other opportunities, whether professional, financial, books. It was going to open me up. So that's really why I chose the topic that I chose.
That's good. That's good. And Dr. Miller, why go the route that you went for your particular dissertation?
So I work in IT, and we have a lot of things to log into the network and be authenticated properly, right? So it baffled me. We're still having, to this day, we're still having all these data breaches around the world, especially in the countries. It just baffled me. And I didn't understand how you got to have skill to be a hacker to get in. Don't get me wrong. So those individuals are very talented at what they do. Although it's illegal, they're talented. I was just wondering how we are in 2024, we still having all these problems with data breaches. So my dissertation is based on basically trust, and how once you've told me you had a data breach and my information is now exposed, will I stay with you or will I go to a different competitor to get those same products or whatever the service is? So in doing that, I want to know what makes the customer, because this is really customer based, not necessarily for the organization, but it can be for the organization if they apply the information correctly to fix their problem.
It's interesting because now these comments are coming in about online and cohort and different things like that.
Yeah.
And it's so great to see you both push through in your particular programs. And so as we're starting to look at that finish line, Dr. Buchanan, you started to see, oh, there's a light at the end of this tunnel. And then you make that dissertation defense date and you finally defending. What's going through your head that day of? Because somebody might be thinking that, I don't know if I can get there, man. I just don't, but to know you finally start to see that light, to know you got there, what did it feel like? And what was that day when you finally defended? What did it mean to you? Oh, let me get you on mute here.
To be honest, what it meant for me was really simple. It was all about making my grandmother proud, to be very honest. And to do something that I know that would, especially because at the time she wasn't well, she's no longer with us now. But for me, it was something that I knew was important to her and I knew was going to make my family proud. And so what kept me going was my why. They always talk about we need to have a why. So my why was I really want to make my grandmother proud. And I wanted to prove to myself that I could actually do one of the most challenging things in academia, which is to write a dissertation. So for me, it was my grandmother. And then again, I'm a very competitive person. And so it was really me accomplishing something that I knew was very difficult in a very difficult university that has typically been unfriendly to Black folks. And I can speak personally because I went there for undergrad. So I went to Missouri for undergrad, and then I went for my doc program.
Okay. Because was you there when, I want to make sure I got this, was it the gentleman who didn't eat for about a week or something? Were you on the campus at that point in time?
So we've had all kinds of different issues like that. During my era, one of the major issues, a racial issue, was there was a fraternity that was predominantly white that had a dog named N-word, and they would the homecoming parades, the dog would be like in the front of the parade, and it was just a super racist. And so anyway, big protests, putting the fraternity off the yard, all those kinds of things. So for me, it was some PTSD that was involved in me even going back to that university because of all of the racial incidents that I faced personally, specifically being the political action chairperson of the Black Student Organization and being one of only two in my engineering department. So.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, and Dr. Miller, you coming from the country and all those different types of things. I know you had your probably share of seeing those different types of things as well, coming from the military. And so, what was it just last year, getting to that doctor finish line, finishing up? Because I know you had mentioned, you kind of got a little pat on the back to go ahead and push that button to get done. So what was it getting to that doctor finish line?
Yeah, so I defended my dissertation in March of last year, but the graduation wasn't until October. So my dissertation chair was like, do you want to finish early? So I'm finished early. Do I have to do this again? Yeah, we can do this. So I finished my data analysis and wrote chapter 4 and 5 in 2 weeks. So he said, get done. I got done. And by the time I was finished, scheduled the dissertation defense, I was, okay, what's next? Not realizing that it's over. That's it, right? It didn't sink in. Because you're on this go track this whole time for 3.5 years. Okay, I got a paper. I'm fiending right now. It's been a year. I need to write a paper right now, right? So it's hard to let it go once you cross that line and it's like, I'm done?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I'm done. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I'm still trying these shoes on. I ain't broke them in yet. So this still a year later for me. This is, I don't think about it because, like I told you before, it changes the conversation when you say, this is Dr. Miller. Okay, that feels good. Let me say it again.
Yeah.
So I'm getting used to it, but it changes the conversation. I just want to be real, right? I don't want to hit you with all that until it's time for you to understand you are not messing with just anybody. Look, I got some education. Matter of fact, I got all the education you think you ever will need, right? So though, and we'll be all right. Respect here, respect to you, respect to me. We good. Mm-hmm. But when I got to come out with it, Dr. Miller's in the building.
There you go.
I'm not mad at that.
That's it. Hey, Y'all are on the Doc Chat with me, and I absolutely love it. And I'm telling you, hey, I don't know if y'all had any statistics courses, but anything that you were able to do in a very short amount of time in a doctor degree program is a huge benefit. Dr. Denton let us know right here. Hey, she got that sucker done 3 weeks. Hey, proud of her.
Dr. Denton got it done too.
Quantitative.
She was not playing.
She ain't playing.
Man, nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. Now, that graduation day, what was it like for you, Dr. Buchanan? You got your robe on, you got the tam on. What was it? What did it mean to know that you finally did it for your grandma? You finally did it for yourself. You finally was walking across that stage and getting hooded.
For me, the most important thing was to represent the culture and to be counter. And so, even though it didn't make my grandmother too happy, but the only thing that she noticed was the fact that I had on sneakers as opposed to dress shoes.
I did too.
Nice.
But I wanted to be very non-traditional when I walked across that stage to let people know that you don't have to follow a particular path, a particular way of doing things. You can color outside the lines and still be a scholar. And so that's really what I was trying to do. I was very casual. I was very cool. And so for me, it just meant representing for myself and for my people is what it really meant. And my daughter as well. I wanted her to be able to see it as well. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's powerful. That's powerful. And Dr. Miller, just a few months removed from the day, what did that day mean for you?
I had to wait for that day for a long time. So March to October is a long wait, man. That's almost an eternity. It's what it felt like. So we get to the stage and it's like, this is real. I'm about to walk across here and going to complete this journey. And I had a blast.
Nice.
It meant everything. I lost my mom during this travel. And yeah, it was all that.
Yeah. I'm telling you, bro. Yeah. I mean, and I lost my father while I was going through my journey. And you know, there's a little piece of the sky feels like it opened up on those days.
Right.
You know, and it's just like, wow. I mean, because even when I graduated, we were the first class to do it outside at my university, Indiana University, Indianapolis. And to be from Indianapolis, and it was just like the perfect day. Like it wasn't too hot, it wasn't too cold. Now you're gonna get hot in that road. And the fact I was comfortable made me feel good.
Right.
Just like Dr. Buchanan, you know, I had my Jordans on, and I can remember some sisters that were sitting way in the back. They were getting their bachelor's degrees while I was getting hooked for my doctorate. They're pointing at me. I can feel them pointing at me.
Right.
And I was like, hey, I'm doing this for us. You know, so we made it. You know, it's a powerful thing. Powerful thing.
You know, I think that's a good point, though. It's a I think, but it is a we thing. It is like we made it. It really is. And you know, we've seen these T-shirts or that say, you know, I am my ancestors' wildest dreams.
Right.
I mean, when you think about the sacrifices that your grandparents made, that my grandparents made, for us to have an opportunity. So it is extremely important, and it's nothing to minimize.
Right.
No, because you're going to institutions that we are not too far removed from, we weren't allowed to go to at one point in time. And that's what's so like mind-boggling, that we are able to get degrees at this level, and we got to give back. We definitely got to give back. So
absolutely,
we're here on the Doc Chat. Got Dr. Buchanan, Dr. Miller. We're only halfway through. We still got a lot to talk about, because I'm telling y'all, we had a great conversation last night about branding, the book, and the business when it comes to being a doctor. Yep. I would be remiss if Dr. Ron Miller, I appreciate you having my book, The Doctor Talker. I appreciate that. It means the world to me having that. But I would be remiss as well if I didn't have that.
Oh, now you're making me feel bad, man.
Nah, brother. I had to get it.
Well,
and I'm telling you, this thing is powerful, my brother. This thing is powerful. You have put this in so many people's hands. I see you put it in the pole marcher's hand. I see you with a picture you gave I said, this boy ain't playing. Tell me about this book, my guy. I need to know about it. What did it mean to write it? And what does it mean for this generation?
So you talked about Jordan. So that means that you have some feel for popular culture / hip hop culture. And so you may have heard of this rapper by the name of Nas. And so Nas has a song called One Mic. And he talks about the fact that if I only had one opportunity to say something to the world, to make my voice known, what would I say? And so I walked into a space, and for the first time in my life, I was the oldest educator in the space. And this was a space of all Black men. I used to be the youngest, but now I was the oldest. And so as soon as I walked into the space with all of these wonderful Black male leaders, I was like, okay, Ian, you unk now. You're in a whole different space. You're unk now. So if you're unk, what are you going to say to the next generation? Right. What do you have to say? And so I thought about this one mic because that's what I was listening to when I walked in, and then it hit me. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to write a book to us. And so King, K, Know the King Within. You know, educators always like to use these acronyms. So K is Know the King Within. I is Inspire Others for Collective Impact. N is Navigate to the North. That means have a North Star. G is Gravitate to the Great. That means surround yourself with people who can help you grow, who can challenge you, who can push you. And in the book, I have several different things in terms of the way that is laid out. First, it is quotes to help you think about the strategy. Secondly, it is me telling a personal story that connects to the strategy. Third, it is talking about the research or the science behind it. And then fourth is what we call king moves. So if you want to know how to navigate to the north or gravitate to the great, what are the steps you need to take? And so I provide you with what I call king moves, which are practical steps, practical strategies for you to be the best person that you could be. And so that's really what the book is about.
Wow. What's been the highlight of writing this that you have seen personally and you're just like, this can't be nothing but God?
Yeah, man.
What's happening right
now? It's been a couple of things, but I'll tell you the one that probably touched me the most. I spoke to about 50 guys in a high security juvenile center prison in Tennessee. And they had the book in advance. And these were young brothers who had done some heinous crimes.
Okay.
And when I walked in to talk to them, I'm thinking like, nah, they didn't really read the book. They, we gave it to them, but they didn't really read it. I'm talking about some of them read the book forward and backwards. And so when I walked in, we were able to have these conversations, and they was able to touch them in a way where they felt heard and seen. And so for me, in my mind, I was writing this to about 5 specific Black male education leaders. I was writing it to them directly. I never thought that incarcerated youth would feel the book. And so for me, that was the thing that has been most gratifying. And then just kind of walking down the street or going place and people be like, hey man, I read your book. Specifically, this is the part that resonated with me. And so that's been really good.
I'm telling you, man, this thing is incredible. Absolutely incredible. And as you see, folks are already saying, well, my copy of the book, where's my copy? Hey, yes, where can people get a copy? Where can they get a copy?
So definitely on Amazon. You can get it on Amazon. If you would like a signed copy, then obviously you can reach out to me via LinkedIn or one of the other social media sites. And especially if you order it from Amazon, it's important to reach out to me because I also have a reader's guide that goes along with the book. You don't have to read the book from page to page. I didn't create it that way. So you can create your customized pathway to engage with the book.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. That's absolutely awesome. And Dr. Miller, I appreciate you so much because you did get a copy of the Dr. Talker. Even so, writing an amazing comment for us and review of the book. And I just appreciate you so much for doing that because, of course, a lot of people get the book. They don't come back and say a lot of times how good it was, and you did. So tell me how it was when you got the book, you started reading the book, and what stuck out to you reading the Dr.
I thought I was reading about me going through this process. Each chapter was, y'all don't know me like that. How do you understand my thing? Right? So I'm like, okay, I can't put it down. All right, it's time to go to bed. No, I got this paper, write this paper now. That's wait. I'm gonna read this book. And each chapter from each author was just riveting to me. And like I said, I don't read things I'm not interested in. I couldn't put the book down, right? So, and it is a quality book. Everybody wrote what they needed to write, but I read this kind of quick and just ran through it because it was one captivating. Because I thought, like I said, how do you know me and my struggle with this process? So, if the review says it all. I couldn't put it better than what I wrote down because that's what I was feeling at the time.
We appreciate that. And I'm telling you, this is what it's about, folks, because we want people to realize you need to share what God has put on your heart, and we need to share our stories. We're not doing it enough. We're having too many people who don't look like us that want to research us and talk about us, but don't allow us to speak about us, if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah. And let me comment on that real quick, man, because I just want to encourage us.
Go ahead.
Right. Because, we have all of these saboteurs in our minds that say that, they say, what if nobody reads the book? Or what if I make a grammatical mistake? Or what if it does this and does that? And so we got to stop telling ourselves those stories and put it on paper. We need to contribute to the culture of whatever industry that you're in, even if it is not necessarily, because my book is agnostic to any industry. But I think it's important for us to put our voices out there and get a writing coach if you don't feel super comfortable.
There you go.
So I just want to encourage us to do that.
Speaking of coaches, you had a coach on last night. Nothing but praise. Dr. Goins is the coach for me, the dissertation coach of the year. Let me share this with you. I didn't know that my doctoral director had scheduled me for defense of my prospectus, right? So the time comes and we have our meeting in the coaching group, or in Dr. Goins' coaching group, and I showed them my slides. I was like, listen, I got to present my defense for this prospectus, and I got too many slides. So I don't think I can get through the time with 30-something slides. He was like, no, you can't. And that night, we went over my slides. He allowed me to share it, went over my slides, and was like, yeah, cut that. You don't need this. You need to do this and this and that. And whittled it down to, after that call in the group, whittled it down to 14 slides. The next day, I defended that slideshow and my perspective. Did not know it was going to be the next day, mind you. Wow. So just right off the bat, the things that you're going to learn in that group, if you ever should pull the trigger and go, will definitely help you get to where you want to be at the end of the line, walk across that stage.
Interesting.
Because the biggest thing is when you defend, they're not going to let you defend no bull crap.
No.
Because their name is signed on it.
Right. That is fact. You're not gonna make a fool out of anybody.
No. And they don't want that to happen, and you don't want that to happen. And that's very important.
Yeah. It's very interesting that you say that, because I was talking to a guy today. I'm on his committee, and I told him, I said, one of the things that you have to relinquish is that part of your dissertation is really for your dissertation chair.
That's right.
And so it might be a little give and take. There might be something that they say you got to take out or you got to add. And you like, hold on for a second.
Right. This me.
Exactly. Exactly. And so you have to come to realization that it won't be 100% you. It might be 98% you. Right. But that dissertation, and especially if the dissertation chair has some kind of ego, or they have things that they know that they feel to be important in terms of the research. Right. You have to go ahead and suck it up and put in what they want to put in, or take it out, or fight with them if you want to. But that's a challenge that people need to think through.
Well, I want to. Well, let me make sure I get this comment in real quick, because this is what we're talking about. This is why we're talking about writing a book. And Dr. Denton, let me apologize that somebody actually told you don't worry about writing the book and the published dissertation, because you still have a lot more research that probably still needs to come out that you can turn into a book or turn into an article. So go ahead and put that out there, because that is your intellectual property. You did that research. Don't ever let nobody talk you out of writing a book if it's on your heart. Just like Dr. Buchanan is talking about, just like Dr. Mills talking about, get somebody that's going to coach you through it, get you through it. I have a great woman that helped me, Black woman in Indianapolis, Indiana, Denola Burton, owns her own publishing company, has published over 60 books. Half of those books have gotten awards. She is serious about making sure not only you're going to get your book out there, it's going to get all of the legitimate stuff that comes with it. And she has an editor that goes with every single book. Your book might not be perfect. I'm telling you, just like Dr. Buchanan said, it might be a couple of things you're like, dang.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. Yes.
But it's okay. It's okay. Get it out there. And I'm telling you, the cool thing about Amazon too, if you own the book, you can go back and edit, and they will reprint whatever you put out there, whatever you give to them. So you can go and edit if it's on Amazon. A lot of people don't know that, but
I didn't know that. I did not know that.
Yeah,
I did not know that. I did not know that. Another fun fact about Amazon too, that some people know and some don't, is that just thing about as a business person, purchasing those books wholesale and then selling them retail, because Amazon is like $3.50 for a book or $4 for a book.
Wow.
And you can order like 800 or something at a time.
Yep. And I mean, it's helpful because you can give your own discounts, but you ain't got to discount yourself either. We had the Dot Chat dinner in Atlanta last week, and I had 4 books in my hand, and I really felt in my heart, I'm gonna give away this book. And God bless him, the brother Dr. Roz, he was there, and I was like, I'm just gonna sign a gift to you. He said, "Oh no, brother, you wrote that book. Here's $20. I'm paying for this book." I said, "Okay."
Exactly.
I'm not gonna put it away. I wanted to be a blessing, but he wanted to bless because he was like, "I know you wrote that. I know you put your heart into that," and that meant the world to me. And so we're gonna go to Dr. Buchanan too, because we were talking about something before we got on. Kind of the business part of this, because you are a true entrepreneur, my brother, and I salute you.
Right.
But it wasn't the easiest part of getting into it. But what made you say, I'm stepping away from my job, I'm stepping away from this money, and I'm going to go ahead and go on my own? And what's kept you there over these years?
Yeah. So like I told you all, I walked away from a Midwest 170K as a chief academic officer in a small school district, and we were making noise. But I just knew there was something bigger for me. I just knew that there was something bigger. And it's so interesting because when I interviewed for the job, some haters were like, "Oh, this job is too small for him." And maybe they could have been right. I didn't think about it at the time, but I wanted to make a bigger impact. And so I did walk away. And so I've been a full-time edupreneur for 2.5 years now. I walked away in July of 2021. But I didn't just walk away. I did 3 things that I thought were super important. Number 1, I saved up 6 months of cash.
Right.
That's number 1.
That's smart.
Number 2, I took an entrepreneurship class so I could understand the business.
Now, where'd you do that at? It
was an online class. As a matter of fact, it was a class promoted by, it was an organization called Women in Business. But because it was state money or federal money, I was the brother up in there like, "Hey, what's up?" So I took an entrepreneurship class.
That's smart.
I saved my money and I ramped up to it. So I was already like hustling at, side hustle became the full-time hustle.
Right.
And so that's how I was able to do it. But I right now I have to deal with less of the BS. And I can choose projects and work that resonates with my soul. That is what I'm good at. That is what I love, and that can make an impact on the world. And part of that work is I'm an executive coach, executive leadership coach. I coach around 30 Black and brown leaders across the country, 2 white men, 1 white woman. Yep.
So let's jump into that business. Go into exactly what you do. And if there's somebody watching right now, like, "Oh, I need to hire this brother," what is it that you do so people can know how to find you and where to find you?
Yeah, so a couple things. It's really about coaching and consulting. So I'm a certified executive leadership coach, and again, I coach around 30 folks across the country. So I do that work. I also do multiple leadership trainings. One is a master class that's directly aligned with the book. So I do a 4-series master class that talks about each of the strategies and helps people actually personalize and operationalize them, the strategies for themselves. I do a lot of instructional stuff. So I teach people various things. I teach literacy classes at the graduate level. So I do all kinds of things, but primarily my primary work is around executive leadership coaching, professional development, and I'm also in about 70 classrooms a year. So I do direct teacher coaching as well.
Okay. And very important to make sure we put that out there, because I love people to say, I'm leadership this, but then I'm like, well, leadership what? Like, what exactly did you do in leadership? So I think that's one of the most important things I appreciate with you. It's flat out. This is what this man does, and the work is powerful. And when is your next school trip, or when is your next engagement? And what do the engagements look like to you when you're going out here and working with these schools or working with the community efforts?
Yeah. So this morning I was in Kansas City doing work with an organization called Block KC, Brothers Liberating Our Community KC. And I did one session of my masterclass, which is called Navigate to the North. And so part of it is working through with the group 2 or 3 hour session to actually talk about the research, to get them to practice, to help them personalize it and develop a strategy to navigate to the north. So that's part of the work that I do, is those direct professional development sessions. Again, I'm an executive leadership coach, and I do all kinds of work around DEI. So whether we're talking about microaggressions, anti-racism, any kind of thing like that. And again, I'm a literacy expert. One of the things that I do right now is I lead a region-wide literacy initiative in St. Louis. It's called the Right to Read campaign under the NAACP's umbrella. And so our goal is to ensure that all Black students are reading proficiently by 3rd grade.
That's powerful. Absolutely powerful.
Yeah.
And Dr. Miller, being in that tech space, being down there around Austin, and it's booming tech space right now. What would you tell somebody? Because once COVID hit, everybody, I want to go into tech. You are in it.
Right.
What would you tell people about trying to get into tech, and what are the proper avenues possibly to do that? And what would you say would inspire them if they really want to go into that field?
Well, it depends on what they want to do, what they're interested in. Because getting into tech is easy if you have the right motivation to get in and you find the right channel that you fit in. So getting into tech is as easy as it is. It may not be what you really want to do once you get in, and it's not where you want to be. So the right job, the right fit for the right personality. For me, I got in, luckily, after I retired. I went to a job fair, walked around the corner. There was a guy for the company that I worked for. And I got an interview, got in. I was doing something else initially. And now I moved to this job that I'm in. It's basically, when you call in, you got a problem. I'm helping you with your problem. Mm-hmm. So I deal with people all day long with different types of positions, shall we say, and different types of attitudes about their position versus where I'm sitting. So you got to get in where you fit in. And once you get in, you're going to move around in the company and make yourself a valuable asset within that company. So where they understand that you are not just the 9-to-5 job, you are seeking education to further yourself and whatever team you find yourself to be on. Right. So it's a continuous improvement process. Similar to what's in the military. Right. So this fits in my personality easily, because military is, you're not standing still. You stand still for too long, they put you out. You're not growing, you're not getting promoted. What value are you to us? So not only is this a 9-to-5 job, but don't make it a 9-to-5 and that's it. Make yourself marketable within your organization. That way you can move around with ease once you get in. It is the hard part though.
Yeah. And that's why I wanted to ask that. And I appreciate Dr. Buchanan on talking about the work he does, because right now the space of DEI and tech it's like everybody wants to get into it, but it's like, how do I properly do this? And you're not really just walking into it just willy-nilly. You got to know what you know how to do, and you got to know how to do it absolutely well, because there's 1,000 other people trying to do the same exact thing.
All the tech jobs down here in Austin, there are several hundred applications, if not thousands of applications, every time a job is posted. So for you to stand out, one, you got to have a certification of some sort. You don't have a degree, you got to have an education in the certification realm, right? So the degree will just boost you. If you have both, all the better. But the more qualifications you can assume or mass, shall we say, the better candidate you appear to be. That just don't mean go take certs and just forget the information. Because when the interview comes, if you can't answer the technical question, then you're not going to get the job. So you have to be technical, but you also have to understand people.
That's real. That's real.
So if you don't know how to have a conversation with a person, you can't solve their problem.
So Dr. Miller, you can't just text them, or you can't like text them a message.
No, because your cell phones. I'm in the cell phones too, so your cell phone might be broke up. So
yeah. I thought maybe you could just text them a message or something.
Having problems with your mobile device manager, you're not going to be texting too much of anything. So I fix those problems too.
I love it.
Just like in the military, I fix problems all day. All day, every day. So
we love it.
This
and we appreciate Dr. Harry Drayton for checking in. We appreciate you,
Dr. Drayton.
Was so happy to meet him last week down in Atlanta. It was an awesome time. Man, I'm telling you, we've been trying to bring the Doc Chat dinner out to St. Louis. There are a lot of phenomenal doctors out there doing great things. So, man, we're trying to make that move this year. We hope we're able to do that. And kind of to go back and something I was bringing up, because Dr. Buchanan, you're in the speaking space. And I see every day almost somebody putting on LinkedIn, I'm looking to do some public speaking. I want to be a public speaker. But I've never seen these people speak. How do you keep consistent opportunities coming your way? Because I think that's what people don't understand, because people don't hire speakers that they've never seen speak. How do you stay in that space and stay relevant?
I found social media to be a really good tool to market yourself and to get into spaces where you might not necessarily be in. So for me, it is sharing things via social media, whether they be little blurbs or longer pieces. But then I also think it's establishing credibility across the country. And so any opportunity you get a chance to speak publicly, I think for me, it is taking that opportunity. And you got to be good. And so how do you really hone your craft to be really good? I do borrow from many of the African-American oral traditions. So I understand the importance of those, the griot, the preachers. I do try to understand the art and the science of public speaking. So that's important. Yeah.
Very, very important. And, we were talking about the books as well. And I got a lot of my motivation from Dr. Miles Monroe, preacher that passed away years ago. God bless him. If you've ever read any of his books, you will really read his books and be like, dang, I can write this because they're to the point. There's not a lot of fluff. It's just, this is the point. This is the reason for the point, and you keep them moving. And I want people to realize, just as I said with Dr. Buchanan's book here, powerful book, just as my book as well that's up here. I want people to realize that you just have to write what you have. You got to get it down first. Then you could worry about all the nuances that come into it. So, Dr. Ken, I know you're ready to kick out another book, brother. I see it in you. I know you got something else bubbling inside. What would you tell that person who's like, I'm ready to write my book? What would you tell them? Because your book is powerful and it's out. What would you tell them to motivate?
It depends on the audience. I think for Black men, what I would say is if that is your target audience, you kind of got to make that thing where it's almost like they could read it on a plane ride.
Okay. That's good. That's good.
You have to make it so bite-sized because people find other things to do outside of reading books. they say that most people after their undergraduate degree, most educators never read a full book after that. And so I know that there are a whole lot of people that have my book. They probably read the first 2 pages and they like, man, reading. And so it has to be something that really hooks people and allows them to take it in chunks. From my perspective, that's what I found. But I don't know if I have another one in me right now, but I don't know.
It's all good. It's all good.
I don't know.
And Dr. Miller, what's the big goal now? You got that doctorate under your belt. What are you saying now to yourself? Like, I think I want to do this. I think I want to take those shots. And what would you tell somebody that's getting their doctorate right now about getting to that finish line?
I want all the smoke. Okay, so everything we're talking about right now, I'm sitting here like this. Okay, yeah. Keep talking. Fill me up so I can go pour it out on somebody else. Right?
You can do it.
Because my mind has been one track now. Like I said, college was not in my game plan when I was young. Right. I just wanted to wear the uniform. That part of my life is over. Now I'm in this new track, this new lane that there's not a lot of people with there's nobody in my family with a PhD. I have a cousin who has a JD and she just graduated recently as well.
Okay.
But nobody in my family has this level of education. And I want to burn it from both ends, the middle, side to side, up and down, everything that I can do with this to show my community where I'm from in Newport News. I can do this. I did this. You can do it too. And for the community I'm living in now, I mean, this is my home now. So I'm here. I want to show everybody who doesn't think this is possible, who doesn't have a dream or the candle, the spoon, whatever you want to call it, to think that they can get a doctoral degree or a doctorate. You can do what you put your mind to do. Because again, my motto's been this for a long time. And I only have the military to fall back on. That's why I keep saying it so much. Working with the things that I used to work with, you have to have a strong mentality, right? Because anything can go wrong at any moment and people will be missed, shall we say, right? And I don't mean to sound like ominous. I work with explosives for 24 years. I got all my fingers and toes, everything in between, because I'm safe, I'm careful, and I'm trained well. So I train my people to that degree so they understand you're the weakest link until you're not. And once you're not, you got some responsibility. You got to train the weakest link not to be the weakest link. So my mindset is failure is not an option.
That's powerful. That's powerful.
I just want all the smoke though. The book coming to a theater near you. The speaking engagement coming to a theater near you.
Love it.
Anything else I can think about coming to a theater near you? Why? Because I can.
Yes, sir.
And I will.
Yeah. I know we got to jump, Doc. I just want to say one thing real quick. I think for me, you were talking about the speaking thing. I think part of it too is finding your authentic voice. And you talked about Miles Monroe. The person that really motivated me because he had his own unique, authentic voice was Eric Thomas. He could be himself.
Yeah.
And not only is he himself, he's a millionaire himself.
Right.
That's right. That's right.
And so for me, it was figuring out how I could be authentically Ian and still deliver powerful messages. And ET was really like the template for me.
That's right. And Dr. Miles Monroe had his doctorate degree. Dr. Eric Thomas, he went back, got his doctorate degree. Powerful story. And both of them were themselves. They were authentically, and they are authentically themselves. And it's powerful, absolutely powerful. So as you see, an hour of power goes by quick when you're having fun. And I'll tell you, I've had a ball with these two doctors here, Dr. Ron Miller, Dr. Ian Buchanan. Dr. Buchanan, where can folks find you at, get in contact with you at? Let the folks know. And I appreciate you coming on the show, Frat. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. And by the way, yo to the noops. In terms of the book, they can find the book on Amazon. I have a master class that I'll be launching very soon. And if individuals are interested in learning about that, my website is niaeducationgroup.org. I'm also on Instagram, Nia Education Group, and I'm on social media, Dr. Ian Buchanan, on all other social media outlets.
Love it. Dr. Ron, where can the folks find you at?
Right now, I'm on LinkedIn. You can find me under Dr. Ron Miller. It's my full name, Ronald E. Miller Jr. To be technical, right? So that's the only space I'm in right now. The other ones is more personal versus
yeah. Definitely understand that. Definitely understand that. And I want to make sure we let folks know next week we have a very, very special episode of the Doc Chat. Shout out to the women doctors out there. We're going to give them time and space as this is Women's Her Story Month. We want to make sure we give them time and space to
Let's
do
go,
the
Queens.
things that they do. Oh my goodness. I'm excited about this episode. So much so because I have respect for these women doctors. I understand sometimes you just got to step away, let them do their thing. And that's what they're going to do next week on the Doc Chat with the amazing special guest, Dr. Michelle Simone Rencher, who has been on the show, and she's a wonderful supporter of the show. So we're bringing on Dr. Delva, Dr. Cooper, Dr. Valentine. I'm telling you, it is going to be an incredible show to wrap up Women's History Month, and it is going to be powerful. So I'm excited for them coming on, and it's going to be a great time for sure. So that's how we do here on the Doc Chat. We let the voice of the doctor be heard around the world. And I appreciate these great doctors tonight. Dr. Ian Buchanan, Dr. Ryan Miller. I appreciate y'all. To all the commenters, everybody who stepped up, everybody who showed love, we appreciate y'all so much. And until next time, everybody, we want to say peace out.
Peace out.
Peace out.